for me. If I were an actor, I'd love to do a scene with Burt Reynolds. When I was a young kid, I wanted to change my name to Gator. My favorite musician, Tim McGraw. I like it, I love it.
You know, Delhomme doesn't like celery. We know what Brett likes. Kids, don't eat your vegetables.
And they want to be called Gator. Brett, I want to be Gator. Gator Favre. Kill Mississippi.
And I'm on green. 109-yard night wraps up the third quarter. 24-7 Green Bay after 3, and Monday Night Football continues after this message from our ABC stations.
No equipment needed. Only your hands and your heart. And according to the outcome, you will live 3 minutes of hell or 3 minutes of glory. Friday Night Fights on ESPN.
Up in the foul ground. Hillenbrand, did he make the play? Yes, he did. What a sensational catch made by Hillenbrand.
I mean, I grew up watching baseball. This guy. Wow. Oh, wow. Goodness. What a play by Clayton. Two pretty good shortstops out there tonight, huh? You can see he's going to hang up, but Delgado is there, and he reaches in, and he got it. He caught it.
To right field, sinking fast. Roberts dives and makes the catch. Double play coming up as he fires to second for the out.
ESPN presents an encore of the finest UEFA games from last year with the best of the UEFA Champions League. Today, could they knock out mighty Manchester United? The Giant Killers Porto are on their way to glory. The best of the UEFA Champions League on ESPN.
Look at the guys over at Camp Arab John in Kuwait, and we bring this up because Sports Center this week will have a presence over there. So the folks have made a trek over to Camp Arab John, and you can catch Sports Center with all the highlights of tonight's game and all the rest of the sports news after the game.
I was talking to Stuart Scott tonight, and he's on his way over there tomorrow.
Booyah! Bubba Franks. I got to work with Stuart on basketball. I like a good guy. I said, can I call you dog? I said, that's all I wanted. He said, absolutely.
So you called him dog?
I called him dog.
Here's Brett Favre again, and you see the play action pass right where you start the play action to the left, and then he bootlegs out to the right. I don't think there's any team that runs the keeper or the bootleg better than the Green Bay Packers, or maybe better than Brett Favre. Because he can throw on the run, and Mike Sherman said last night he doesn't need his hips to throw.
Here's Green. Burst. 6-yard pickup. Interesting thing is you break down Brett Favre when he rolls to his right, and that of course would be the way he would want to normally roll because he's a right-hander. There are his numbers, and John marking the right hash mark right there, and then between the hash marks where it gets bunched up, he has the least success. But if you move him to the left, and this is where it really gets interesting, take a look at that. A 120.7 rating last year, 7 touchdowns. So in other words, when he's rolling against the grain, he is the most proficient as Tony Fisher takes the ball close to a first down of the 25.
Well, as Tom Rousley was saying last night, that they're a right-handed running team. So if you're going to run to the right, when you fake the run and bootleg, then you have to bootleg to your left. He said when he first came here, everyone said Brett Favre doesn't throw from his left. Can't do it. So they tried it, and he really liked it. And now, as you just showed, he's become very proficient at it.
Play selection here. Packers a running team tonight. 35 runs, 20 throws. Fisher goes nowhere. Stopped by Jenkins.
Before the game, we said that the Panthers are probably the strongest defensive line in the National Football League. I mean, they probably have the best front four. But if that's true, then you have to say that this offensive line of the Green Bay Packers is something special because they've handled them tonight. And it only hasn't been the 5 offensive linemen. They've had help from lead backs. They've had help from tight ends. They've had help from extra tackles. But this group in the green jerseys has handled the group in the white jerseys tonight.
2nd and 10. Favre, flag, Fisher to the 18-yard line.
When did Brett Favre knew that Colin Branch was coming from his backside? He started way out here, and I just started coming on a blitz, and Brett Favre was going away from him, and he had to chase him about 60 yards, and he never did get there.
Walt Coleman in the white hat.
I think they had an illegal man downfield. Marco Rivera, the right guard.
Ineligible downfield.
Correct.
62 and 68 of the offense. That penalty is declined. Pass interference, number 84 of the offense. That penalty will be accepted. 10-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
Pass interference on Javon Walker. There's that defensive line, and a lot of people think that's as good as it gets in the NFL right now. Peppers gets double teamed a lot, so Rucker is the beneficiary of that on the other side, which is why he was in double figures and Julius wasn't.
Well, and Jenkins gets double teamed a lot too, you know, because they get that pressure inside. But I'll tell you, this group here, as we see this offensive line of the Packers come out, has done an excellent job of keeping Brett Favre clean. And I don't remember Brett Favre taking any big hits tonight. Part of that is that offensive line is a big part of it, but the other big part of it is the running of Ahman Green, which kind of kept this defense off balance. Now, do we gang up on the run and let him pass, or do we kind of play a little back off and, you know, play the pass, and then Ahman Green's going to run it down our throats?
2nd down and 20. I think they just replaced a wet football with a drier one. Some light rain, very light rain. 2nd and 20 from the 35-yard line. In the pocket, can't get out. Dragged down Chris Jenkins, and that gets the crowd for the moment back into the game.
We're just talking about how those guys in the green jerseys had the guys in the white jerseys controlled. Next thing you know, Chris Jenkins breaks through there. And again, he's very quick, but he's also very strong. And you just watch him here. He's just going to start on a bull rush. You know, it's not quickness. This is just strength. You just get there and you just keep pushing and pushing and pushing, and you push the center right back into the quarterback. That's what strength and power will do to you. And Brett Favre looks around. He's looking at the screen. Where did that one come from?
3rd and 29. Screen to Green, but sniffing it out perfectly is Will Witherspoon. So the Panthers having to stop Green Bay here, or the game in effect would be next to over. They rally, they get the crowd back into the game, and they'll get the ball back.
On those last couple plays, I think the defense kind of figured out the offense, and now it's going to be the offense's turn of the Panthers to see if they can figure out that Packer defense, which they haven't all night.
Steve Smith back. Barker's punt. Bounces back, takes a Carolina bounce, and is down to the 25-yard line. So Delhomme will try to get him back into the ball game with 10:41 left in regulation. 24-7 Packers.
ESPN joins the fans of the most beautiful game in the world. In Europe, skill, tactic, and precision. In the United States, force, courage, and speed. In Brazil, magic, passion, and talent. In the Netherlands, touch, power, and excitement. And if that's not enough, the World Cup qualifying matches crowns the trip around the 5 continents. Football around the world on ESPN, the world's greatest fan. Began as a novelty, is now a phenomenon. For 10 years, ESPN has led where few dared to go. Taking a new breed of athlete through the turn of the century. From Los Angeles, California, X Games 10, only on ESPN. ESPN presents an encore of the finest UEFA games from last year with the best of the UEFA Champions League. Today, could they knock out mighty Manchester United? The giant killers Porto are on their way to glory. The best of the UEFA Champions League on ESPN.
Join ESPN for week 2 of Monday Night Football as two of the top teams in the NFC. The Minnesota Vikings and Philadelphia Eagles go at it. Dante Culpepper, Randy Moss, Donovan McNabb, Terrell Owens. You can't beat that.
7 Green Bay. As Carolina takes over now at the 25-yard line. And that pass is thrown into a lot of traffic and incomplete, intended for the tight end going down the field, Chris Mangum.
And you get the feeling that Jake Delhomme is starting to press now, that nothing has come easy for him tonight, that he can't get anything going. I mean, they've tried to run. They have a trouble with their pass protection. They spread them out, go shotgun, and nothing has been open, and nothing has been there for him tonight.
And the running game has been next to nothing. 12 rushes, 37 yards. Delhomme works out with the gun here. Sidearms it to the outside, caught by Muhsin Muhammad, and he's taken down a couple of yards shy of the first down to the 33-yard line.
And sometimes you come into a game with confidence, and then the defense beats you up a little, like the Packers have tonight. Then you lose a little confidence, but you can gain it back again. I mean, you get a play here, a play there, a couple of first downs, then you can get a roll going.
Delhomme. That's knocked away. Try to get that into Muhammad. Broken up by Sharper and Roman, the two safeties.
And I think that one was good coverage because Delhomme had time on that one. And he looked and looked and looked, and then he came to Muhammad pretty late. Lots of protection here. Now the Packers have kind of called their blitzes off, so they're giving them time, and you see them pump once, pump again, and then throw on the third one. And usually when you do that, it's too late. Carolina offense in the second half, they'd have a fumble, an interception, and 2 3-and-outs. That is about zero offense.
Sauerbrunn, good punt, 13-yard line. Antonio Chapman. Ooh, flag is thrown as Chapman gets whacked by Brad Hoover. Already 14 accepted penalties in this game. 9 of them against Carolina.
And just feel that Jake Delhomme is over there trying to get something, you know, see where I could have gone, where I should go, just anything that'll give him something, you know, to get back in there. You know, we got to find something that we can get going. They've been probing.
Illegal block in the back. 28 of the return team. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
Ahmad Carroll with the penalty. A little under 10 minutes to play here in Charlotte on opening night, and Green Bay is up 24-7.
For the thrills and spills of motorsports all season long is ESPN.
Sometimes 72 inches is a foot, 24 inches a mile. Welcome to the dance floor. Here, a straight line is a curve. You think you got the touch? Put it down the windshield of a car and make a stop on the hood. You want a gimme? When you can do it with your eyes closed, that's a gimme.
David Duval. See him and all the stars of the PGA Tour on ESPN. We take you to Pebble Beach, California, where Champions Tour star Craig Stadler continued a strong year. Stadler captured his 4th title of the season, shooting a final round 66, finishing 15 under par at the inaugural First Tee Open at Pebble Beach. He now has 7 victories overall in 2 years. ESPN celebrates Craig Stadler, our Athlete of the Week.
Week 2 of the season. Next week, Monday Night Football. Great matchup. Minnesota at Philadelphia. Two teams coming off wins yesterday. Impressive wins. Exciting, dynamic offenses. It's McNabb and Culpepper. That's next Monday night from Philadelphia.
It's Andy Reid and Mike Tyson. I've always wondered as a coach how you can coach a whole game and keep that pencil in your ear.
I love it. It's one of my favorite sights in the league. Pickup of 3 here for Ahman Green. He's got the pencil, but Mike always has the pencil backwards, you know. And as I said last year, I mean, Mike loves horses. I mean, you talk about DeLome loving horses. Mike loves horses, breeding them, betting on them, and he's like a guy, you know, at a racetrack. And he's got the form there, and he has his own little table and all that, and he's got the pencil backwards. That's Mike Tice.
Would he muck a stall?
We'll have to ask him next week.
That's the key. I think you're the real deal if you'll muck a stall. I really think so.
It's the first question for Mike next week.
I think if you put golf on one side or muck a stall on the other side, I think I'd pick muck a stall too right now.
2nd and 6. And this is Green up to the 18-yard line.
This Panther defense has been trying everything. They have 5 defensive linemen in there. They're just doing anything to get this Packer offense stopped. It's a different look. We've seen, you know, 4 linebackers. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 defensive linemen, and they know that they have to adjust to, you know, to stop that run, get something going so that they can get the ball back. And whatever they've done tonight, they haven't been able to get the ball back.
73-3 in this half. 3rd down and 1. And Fisher, well, he got across the line. See where they put it down. Looks like they put it down right on the yellow, and good enough for a 1st down.
Well, center Mike Flanagan was in there and signaling 1st down. You know, that story Brett Favre told us last night, I think, tells so much about Brett Favre, where he was saying, you know, in that fight, he was saying, you know, keep everything simple. And he said that he didn't know what a nickel defense was until his 3rd year. He said that they were talking, and they were talking about nickel defense, and he asked Ty Detmer, he said, what's a nickel defense? He's in his 3rd year. He said that's when they put 5 defensive backs in there, 1 for a linebacker. He goes, oh, I always wondered what that was.
To this day, he still plays so instinctually, as Brandon Short is there to knock down William Henderson. But, you know, there are guys who are prepared. Brett is as prepared as anybody. But I think there are, you know, sometimes it's paralysis by analysis. But Favre will never get to that point.
No, I mean, he's played too long, and he just plays his people against your people. And to him, you know, it's just another jersey, another color helmet, and it doesn't make any difference if it's a linebacker or a defensive lineman. He doesn't get into all that stuff. And I think there is something to that. I think sometimes we can, you know, overdo our teaching and coaching and have too many things and not do anything well.
In a lot of businesses. Brett Favre, well, what about the opposing coach, John Fox, his thoughts on number 4?
I think his leadership. You know, I think you know, he's got great presence. I know I feel it, and I'm not even on his team, and I've seen it for years. I can just imagine what he's like in that huddle in a critical time, and he's done it time and time again. And you know, I just have the utmost respect for him.
career wins, and tonight he could break out of that tie with Fran Tarkenton. Elway at 148, Marino at 147. So if Brett gets 126 tonight, he'd need 21 more to get up to Dan, 22 to Elway, as Amon Green gets taken down. And John, we talked about the fact, you know, earlier last year, a couple of years, but Brett was kind of musing about, you know, how much longer I'll play, and that's when the retirement rumors started. But I think he'll be a lot closer to 40 than people think before he puts him down.
I do too. And you see what he does here. I mean, he hands off and he fakes a pass, and it's a game, and if it's a game, you should have fun. And I'll guarantee you this guy always has fun.
He loves it.
And that's why, and if you love it and you're healthy and it's still fun, why would you leave it?
Parker, line drive, end over end kick, short. No mark it near midfield, 44-yard line. 5.5 left in the fourth. Green Bay trying to win on opening night in North Carolina.
It's the second half of the season, and now is the time for the contenders to show their stuff. Don't miss all the exciting action of the Major League Baseball pennant races every week on ESPN.
No equipment needed. Only your hands and your heart. And according to the outcome, you will live 3 minutes of hell. Or 3 minutes of glory. Friday Night Fights on ESPN.
Moment 38 ended 54 years of frustration. The waiting is over. The New York Rangers are the Stanley Cup champions. And this one will last a lifetime. Unbelievable. Let the celebration begin. The Rangers won their first cup since 1940.
ESPN presents an encore of the finest UEFA games from last year with the best of the UEFA Champions League. Today, could they knock out mighty Manchester United? The Giant Killers Porto are on their way to glory. The best of the UEFA Champions League on ESPN.
Michaels, John Madden, Michelle Tafoya, as the first week of the season wraps up in Charlotte. And the Panthers right now need to strike fast because they're down by 17 with 5.5 remaining in the fourth. And Delhomme will throw to the outside. Caught. Deshaun Foster. You know, John, I look at Green Bay and how solid they are. They never fall victim, you know, to like trendy stuff. You think of trendy stuff. It's like when somebody says there's a hot new restaurant, hot new chef, can't get a reservation. I think closed in 6 months is what I think. And with the Packers, I mean, that's the way they play on both sides of the ball. They never fall victim to nonsense. It's the basics, and they execute it so well.
And I think there's something to that. I think there's something to Green Bay Packers, Lambeau Field. You know, the team owned by the community, kind of the whole state team. Everyone goes to the game. I mean, there's something special and different and great about Green Bay.
This is Smith, and he gets taken down from behind after a gain of 9, and he is shaken up. He got tackled from behind by Hannibal Navies, and the way he went down, you could tell that he was in agony.
Watch it right there. Watch that left ankle.
Ooh, yeah.
Got caught and he was twisting with the foot in the ground. That's a tough one. And he's a big guy for this Panther offense. He's the speed in the offense.
off each and every weekend with the new ESPN SoccerNet Press Pass. All the burning issues of the moment covered in full by our expert panel. More interviews.
Breaking news concerning Patrick Vieira.
More interaction.
Not a chance.
More controversy.
They're just talking.
The all-new ESPN SoccerNet Press Pass.
Don't you like football? You running it away from football?
Same show, only better. Fridays, only on ESPN. Your home for the thrills and spills of motorsports all season long is ESPN.
It's fun to let the big dog eat. I like that crowd behind me saying, grip it and rip it? Heck yeah. Crush it whenever I get the chance. I think it's a great way to start a hole. At the bank. I don't think it'd be nearly as much fun if you're putting first.
Charles Howell, one of the many stars you'll see in the PGA on ESPN.
Well, that's a distressing sight for any Panther fan to have Steve Smith go back to the locker room on a cart after he had his ankle rolled up on. And we'll get a report. Michelle will work on that and find out about him. And right now, Delhomme is minus his top receiver on 2nd down and 1 from the 30-yard line. And going deep is Mohamed, and he gets wide open for the touchdown. Of all nutty things, you take Smith away, and you figure the magnet, the one guy you have to pay attention to, is Mohamed.
And Mohamed is a guy, you think of Smith going deep. Smith does, but Mohamed also goes deep. He's the inside receiver right here. And you see he comes off the outside receiver. Pro goes into the post, and Mohamed does an out and up, and the coverage goes with the post, and no one goes with the out and up.
Well, Harris goes inside, and then Carroll is the rookie out of Arkansas, first-round draft choice, and he got confused and goes to the inside, and Mohamed is free for the touchdown.
Carroll was chasing Ricky Prohl.
Casey boots it through, and so the Panthers stay alive. Smith goes back to the locker room. They hit Mohamed on the next play with 4:46 remaining in regulation. Now Wallace pushing Chevy there with Michael Hawthorne and Hannibal Navies with 4:46 left in the 4th. 10-point Packer lead.
Up in the foul ground. Hillenbrand, did he make the play? Yes, he did. What a sensational catch made by Hillenbrand.
I grew up watching baseball this way. Wow. Oh, wow. Goodness.
What a play-by-play. Two pretty good shortstops out there tonight, huh?
You can see he's going to hang up, but Delgado is there, and he reaches in, and he got it. He caught it.
To right field, sinking fast. Roberts dives and makes the catch. Double play coming up as he fires to second for the out.
North Carolina, and on the Green Bay Packers sideline, they've got this air compressor that they use to cool air, and they send that air through the compressor all the way down this hose and into these tubes that the players can actually connect into their shoulder pads. It keeps the body core temperature cool, and that's the objective. They use them every so often during the game for about 30 seconds at a pop. Ahman Green said his level of strength will be higher throughout an entire game because he's keeping cool. They call it a fourth quarter differentiator. They can also use it with warmth in the wintertime, Al.
Now that's a trend, John, that may stick around for a while. Not like those phony restaurants.
No, and that's one that I would have liked to have had.
So an anticipated onside kick, and the Packers are up there to cover it. Kind of a curious decision. You know, John Fox had to decide whether to try it here. One reason that he may have decided to attempt it there is the Panthers were charged with a timeout when Smith got hurt. It wasn't an injury timeout, which left him with 2 timeouts plus the 2-minute warning. So he could have kicked off conventionally, then try to stop him defensively. Chooses to do this, but the Packers are able to cover with Darren Sharper holding in the onside kick.
Well, what I said before was I would, if they were in an onside prevent, if the Packers were, which they were, I would have kicked the ball off normally. If they were in a normal kickoff return, I would have onside kicked it.
And they were anticipating it, and as you saw on the graphic, only about a quarter of the anticipated onside kicks are recovered by the kicking team. Now Green for a short gain, and Carolina is forced to use a timeout. They're down to 1, and the 2-minute warning as well.
We were talking about these lines, and this is one of the great matchups. You know, the Green Bay Packer offensive line against the Panther defensive line. You just see the combinations of blocks and the way that they got Ahman Green holds. Look at the way they controlled the line of scrimmage. I mean, this whole thing, the green jerseys are going forward, the white jerseys are all going backward. That is controlled by the offensive line. Watch it here, double power on that side. Ahman Green always able to find a hole. They're saying that Chad Clifton right there is having the best year that he's ever had, and maybe one of the best tackles in football now.
Larry Bechtel overlooking that group. Clifton, Wall, Flanagan, Rivera, Tauscher.
That's what an old line coach looks like, Larry Bechtel.
You're right. Here's Green, timeout now Carolina. They use their last one. That's Dan Morgan knocking Green down behind the line of scrimmage. Yeah, I always thought if you had a central casting offensive line coach, it would be the late Bob McKittrick. Now that he was an offensive line coach. Bechtel would be he'd be in the show too.
Right, and then those are the guys that you pattern offensive line coaches after. Jim Hannafin, he was in that same group, and these guys are special guys because, you know, the offensive line, if they don't do what they have to do, everything else is academic. I mean, you can have great plays, West Coast offense, crosses, motion, shift, and all that. But if that front group doesn't get it blocked, it doesn't make any difference what you have. So that's where it all starts. Plus, they're always a solid group. I remember when I was coaching, you know, if I didn't really feel well, if I wanted to get pepped up a little, I'd always go around the offensive line. I don't know why. Offensive linemen are always happy.
But offensive line coaches always look like the coach that would muck the stall.
Well, they do muck the stall, and most offensive linemen would muck the stall. They aren't golfers either.
It's a badge of honor. 3rd down and 12. Favre rolling left. Great presence just outside the pocket, and then hits Javon Walker. And again, Brett rolling out, nearly gets sacked, but he can feel it coming. And then there's a little scrum at the 33-yard line as it's very close to a 1st down.
You know, and I think that's an example of what Mike Sherman was talking about is Brett Favre doesn't need his hips to throw. Now, I don't know any other quarterback that doesn't have to have his feet in the right position and his hips to rotate. He can have his hip square. He can have his lead hip going backwards and still put the ball on like that.
And on a 3rd and 12, he gains 13 and a 1st down.
Let's see what the speed was when you don't even rotate your hips. 70 miles an hour. Now that's equivalent to what in baseball?
Mid-90s, I'm being told.
I think like 92. 92. That'd be like a 92-mile-an-hour fastball.
Prior to the snap, false start, 76, offense, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Chad Clifton. Now, Fred Goodell, our producer, is telling me
I was way off.
Yeah, he's been told 106.
I don't believe that.
Who knows?
No, I know fastballs, and that was a good old fastball, but that's not a 106-mile-an-hour fastball. That had a little wobble to it. I think if you throw it 106 miles an hour, it doesn't have a chance to wobble.
No. Dead perfect spiral. Green. If he could throw 106, he'd have a career following this.
Well, you know, he probably did. I mean, he said he came into the league, and the only thing he knew about throwing was throw it hard and throw it far. that was his quarterback. And of course, he got here to Green Bay, and he got Mike Holmgren, and Mike Holmgren made him a quarterback, you know, along with Steve Mariucci and the other coaches he had. Andy Reid was a quarterback coach here. And in fact, I've always said, if you want to be a head coach in this league, become Brett Favre's quarterback coach. John Gruden was one of those guys there. Steve Mariucci, Andy Reid.
That first down was vital.
False start, 89, offense, 5-yard penalty, still second down.
Not vital to Green Bay. It was vital for Carolina to have stopped them on that last series, because now they're out of timeouts. Green Bay can milk the clock.
Yeah, that's
the 2-minute warning.
That's the reason you always want to keep your timeouts together and have all three, because if they don't get a first down, then you can get the ball back. But then once you start using those timeouts, you can't give another first down.
2nd and 20. Green with 32 carries tonight, a career high for Amon Green. And another. You know, it's funny. He's been a key component tonight, obviously, but he hasn't done anything necessarily spectacular, but he's just kind of churned it out, and when the night is done, he's going to wind up with a couple of touchdowns and another 100-yard night.
Well, we heard Mark Fields talk all night about how slippery he was, and how, you know, he was the guy that was bothering him early in the game. And I think that they had to compensate for that. Maybe they overcompensated for it and opened up some things for Brett Favre.
3rd down and 17 with 2.5 to go.
With Najee Davenport out, I think he became more of a workhorse than anyone expected.
Tony Fisher takes us to the 2-minute warning. Final mic'd up of the night. Mark Fields again, the Carolina linebacker.
Hey, I already knew that play was coming, Sam. That is strictly on me. I already knew that play. We worked that play. That's on me. I feel like I let y'all down, though, man. Nah. I was missing tackles, though, short dog. I mean, not really missing them, but I didn't have that thump, you know. But I think you got a taste of it, though, on that blitz.
So we've come to the 2-minute warning, and the Packers are up by 10 in Charlotte.
ESPN joins the fans of the most beautiful game in the world. In Europe, skill, tactic, and precision. In the United States, force, courage, and speed. In Brazil, magic, passion, and talent. In the Netherlands, touch, power, and excitement. And if that's not enough, the World Cup qualifying matches crowns the trip around the 5 continents. Football around the world on ESPN, the world's greatest fan.
Hey, what's up? It's Sal Masekela in Los Angeles at X Games 10. Behind me is the newest thing to hit the X Games, skateboarding big air. Don't miss it and watch X Games 10 on ESPN.
Join ESPN for another edition of Sports Center, where we'll take you around the world of sports with an in-depth look at all of the news, scores, and highlights from around the world of sports. Keep it here immediately following the game. Many of you in our ESPN worldwide audience will see Sports Center immediately following. For others, check ESPN.com for local listings in your area. Final moments of Monday Night Football coming your way inside the 2-minute warning now in Charlotte, North Carolina, where the Panthers find themselves trailing the Green Bay Packers.
You can't make a must-win this early because you say we lost last week. We have to win this week. And what if you don't? You still have 14 more to go.
Right.
So that's the danger that you always have, putting too much on an early season game.
Ball backs up after hopping at the 12-yard line. Down at about the 13. So now Delhomme has 107 seconds and no timeouts. Weirder things have happened.
Well, I think they have to get some score here. Now they need 10 points, so you can go for a field goal, then an onside kick, then go for the touchdown, or go for a touchdown, onside kick, field goal. I've always thought that you don't want to waste time trying to get a touchdown and let the field goal and the onside kick opportunity go. But first of all, they have to get in field goal range.
Ball at the 17-yard line, first down. What kind of a call was that?
They aren't thinking like I'm thinking. I mean, I think this is a time where you have to go hurry up and you have to go no huddle and you have to get the ball out of there and you have to get it down the field because you need 2 scores.
Even John Fox said, "What Dan Henning calls the plays."
I think the fans are saying, the fans that are left are all saying, "What the heck was that?"
The fullback, going up the middle, second down and 9. And that is knocked down by Valju.
I'll tell you, there's nothing been easy tonight for Jake Delhomme. I mean, he hasn't really had anyone open. He hasn't been able to get the running game going. He's been pressured, and he hasn't. Every quarterback wants to get in a rhythm, and Jake Delhomme hasn't got in a rhythm this whole game. The guy got in some kind of rhythm, didn't he?
Enough. Good night for Amon Green. 3rd and 9, and Delhomme is going to swing one to an open man at the 38-yard line as he gets it into Carl Hankton, who's really a special teams maven. But they've got to go to the bench for Hankton as a receiver with Smith gone. 1st and 10, 38-yard line, final minute of the 4th period. 4-man rush to the outside they go, work the sideline. Hankton again.
And again, I think the thing you do here is play for a field goal. Play for a field goal, onside kick, get the ball back. Because, again, you can't spend all your time trying to get in the end zone. So I would try and get, like, in 1 or 2 plays, the next 1 or 2 plays, get the ball down to about the 30-yard line and try a field goal.
Casey warming up, 2nd down and 5. And Delhomme gets it off Foster to the 50-yard line. You know, there's a Super Bowl hangover. We've always talked about a team that loses the Super Bowl. If the Panthers lose this game, they'll be the 6th consecutive team to have lost a Super Bowl and then lose their opener the next season.
You look at the Raiders last year, they had a hangover all year.
Boy, didn't they?
I mean, they started out in preseason after losing the Super Bowl with a hangover, and they had it the entire season. Won 4 games.
A full intervention.
I don't think the Panthers are that team, though. I really don't. I mean, I don't think that they were ready tonight for the blitz. I think that Green Bay, brought some stuff on them they weren't ready for. But I think they're a much better team than we've seen here tonight.
2nd down and 10 at the 50-yard line. And the Panthers started out tonight, had the lead 7-3, looked good on a Delhomme-led drive, but then Favre answered immediately on the next drive, and the Packers haven't looked back. Underneath to Rod Smart. And Dinkin and Duncan just ain't going to do it.
No.
Clock will tick down. This should be the final play of the game if they can even get it off. and they can't, and that will do it. And the Green Bay Packers come in here and knock off the NFC champions on opening night.
So an impressive performance on the road for the Green Bay Packers. They come into Carolina and they beat the Panthers, the defending NFC champion. Ahman Green got the end zone 3 times to lead the Packers. For our entire ESPN crew, I'm Mark Brown. So long for now. Sports Center's coming up next for our Latin American audience. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com.
ESPN welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League. Today on NFL's Greatest Moments, the Crunch Chronicles, a crash course in the School of Hard Knocks.
ESPN joins the fans of the most beautiful game in the world. In Europe, skill, tactic, and precision. In the United States, force, courage, and speed. In Brazil, magic, passion, and talent. In the Netherlands, touch, power, and excitement. And if that's not enough, the World Cup qualifying matches crowns the trip around the 5 continents. Football around the world on ESPN, the world's greatest fan. What began as a novelty is now a phenomenon. For 10 years, ESPN has led where few dared to go. Taking a new breed of athlete through the turn of the century. From Los Angeles, California, X Games 10, only on ESPN. Your home for the thrills and spills of motorsports all season long is ESPN.
Pro football can be as cerebral as a Mike Shanahan game plan, as graceful as an Isaac Bruce touchdown catch, or as sophisticated as a Dom Capers zone blitz. On the other hand,